when you are going to have a glass of water, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Means how you are going to tell, okay, this water is fine, saaf hai, main pee sakta hu. Anyone? I hope my question is clear. मेरा क्वेश्चन बेटा है कि आपको एक ग्लास पानी दिया गया है, आप कहीं पे भी किसी ढाबे पे किसी रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हैं, आप तुरंत ग्लास के अंदर में झांकते हैं, कैसे आप कहोगे कि हाँ ये पानी आप पी सकते हो? What will come in your head? What will come in your mind?
Basically, we check
Transparency.
yes, हम like कि foul smelling नहीं होनी चाहिए and dirt particles नहीं होने चाहिए, just like unwanted particles जो भी होते हैं like water के molecules वो उससे मतलब separate हो जाते हैं. तो मैम अगर हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जो मतलब वही एलिमेंट्स जो कि उसमें काफी ज्यादा लाइक होमोजीनियस सॉल्यूशन बना सकते हैं, बट उसमें भी कलर चेंज हो जाता है और कुछ ना कुछ लाइक मैम उसकी हम ये कह सकते हैं कि विस्कोसिटी थोड़ी सी डिफरेंस हो जाती है. तो उन सब चीजों को लगा करके मतलब हमें मतलब उतना फेयर एनफ आइडिया नहीं मिलता कि इट इज लाइक इन एक्चुअल रीजन की ये कितने एक्सटेंट तक जम्प हुई है या कितने एक्सटेंट तक ये मतलब ड्रिंकेबल है. बट यस कि अगर फाउल स्मेलिंग नहीं आ रही होती और कोई डर्ट पार्टिकल नहीं दिखता है तो वी assume that it is like good for drinking and yes we can have it.
Okay, very good, Pallavi. Thank you. Anam also says, ma'am, when it is clear, fine. ठीक. So first thing जो striking होता है वो होता है पानी का transparency. Very good, Pallavi. I think you have covered almost all the points. ठीक. तो सबसे पहला चीज होता है हम पानी का ट्रांसपेरेंसी देखते हैं कि ट्रांसपेरेंट है कि नहीं. Now these transparency is in two terms. One in the form of color कि कुछ कलर तो नहीं है. Second is in terms of turbidity नहीं हो, मतलब sediments ना हो उसमें या कोई suspended dust ना हो, ठीक है, या पानी मटमैला ना हो, ठीक है. These two are the things when we say water is clear. Second is smell ना करे, odor ना. And third one very important thing is taste नहीं होना चाहिए पानी में, ठीक है. अगर आपको पानी का कुछ टेस्ट गड़बड़ लगेगा, पानी का टेस्ट कैसा होता है? टेस्टलेस होता है. बट इफ यू फाइंड दैट देयर इज सम टेस्ट व्हिच यू डोंट एक्सपेक्ट दैट वाटर टू हैव, ठीक है. अब ऑफ कोर्स कोक आप पियोगे ना, दैट इज आल्सो फॉर्म ऑफ एन एरेटेड ड्रिंक, अ स्वीटेंड वाटर. तो वहां पे जब मीठा पानी पियोगे दैट यू विल एंजॉय बिकॉज योर माइंड टेल्स यू ओके दिस हैज टू बी स्वीट. बट इफ यू आर गोइंग टू सम प्लेस वेयर यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट यू गेट water which you are supposed to drink, then of course your brain will tell you it should be tasteless, ठीक. और अगर आप टेस्ट पाओगे तो आपको लगेगा पानी में कुछ गड़बड़ी है, ठीक है. हो सकता है भले ही चीनी की वजह से हो. सो आप वेटर को बुलाकर या किसी को भी बुला के पूछोगे भैया ये मीठा क्यों है, वो बोलेगा मैडम सॉरी चीनी गिर गई. बट यू विल डेफिनेटली आस्क ये पानी नमकीन क्यों है, ये पानी है ना मीठा क्यों हो रहा है, या फिर ये अजीब सा है. सो थ्री थिंग्स first which we say okay what is blue and it is green. This is clarity in terms of transparency and sense. Again, it should be odorless, and third it should be tasteless. Okay, now based on that, now another important question is ये तो चलो आपने पता लगा, but what about heavy metals or ions which are very very toxic? They are carcinogenic, but you cannot see them, they don't have any odor, they don't have any taste. In that case even when for you या आपकी जो ऊपर के क्राइटेरियाज थे उसमें आपका भले ही पानी फिट बैठ गया बट स्टिल योर वाटर इज नॉट सेफ, ठीक. थर्ड थिंग, water also comprises of your several pathogens, your living biological bacteria etc which you cannot see, okay, protozoans which you cannot see. They don't produce any smell unless and until some decomposition or anoxygenic decomposition starts taking place. Otherwise water won't smell. And they are associated with huge number of list of diseases, diarrhea, dysentery, typhoid, cholera. In that case also your water is not safe, ठीक है. ऐसा अक्सर होता है स्पेशली जब हम रेस्टोरेंट्स में या ढाबे में गोलगप्पे के पानी में पी कर आते हैं, पानी तो बहुत स्वादिष्ट लगा बट व्हाट अबाउट दोस बायोलॉजिकल पैथोजेंस व्हिच वर स्टिल ट्रैवलिंग एंड दे वर लिविंग एंड दे वर थ्राइविंग. we then start creating problem to our system, to our stomach, in the form of loose motions, in the form of pain, and so on. Okay? So there are certain parameters on 3 scales that will detect the physical, chemical, and the biological properties of water. What are those? Now this is identified by lab. Government का जो lab है, that is NPL. बाकी private laboratories भी हैं, ठीक? And they from time to time check the water of every region and of the rivers and of the groundwater and so on. ठीक? ये आपके government को, especially under this water board, ठीक है, your national water board, they release this entire list जिसमें आपके हर एक पैरामीटर का लिमिट दिया हुआ है, ठीक? इस लिमिट से अगर ऊपर पानी में वो मेटल या वो लिस्ट में जो भी पैरामीटर्स ऑब्टेन है, अगर वो प्रिस्क्राइब्ड लिमिट इज टॉक्सिक, अगर वो प्रिस्क्राइब्ड लिमिट से नीचे है देन इट इज सेफ. ओके, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट ओनली your water that comes to your house is then confirmed and then is assured कि okay, now it can be supplied. See? So even nowadays also, when those people who are very I should say are very concerned and they are very cognizant about the quality of the water, so they send it to the private labs और वहाँ पर वो टेस्टिंग के लिए चेक करवा के पूछते हैं कि उनका पानी क्या सेफ है. And then of course they will tell you, see, your water is also safe, but it has some amount of fluoride in it, it had some amount of arsenic in it. Then likewise they will look for the possible solutions either in form of some filter or maybe in form of some other material and so on. Okay, so this is known as your Bureau of Indian Standard. Actually, Bureau of Indian Standard is a common body which was established in 1986 to check the quality of everything that we are eating, we are drinking, and in terms of the purity of the material. With adulteration का जहाँ issue है, वो PIS आपका sort out करता है, उन सब के parameters देता है. So it also takes into account the in maintaining the quality of the water. Okay, so this list you can आप Google पर टाइप करोगे तो आप देखोगे पूरा PDF है, पूरा PDF फाइल है जिसमें हर एक physical parameter, chemical और biological parameters के बारे में details में दिया गया है. ठीक, I'll tell you about bit parameters. थोड़े दो parameters के बारे में बताऊंगी जो important है. Not each parameter, you are not required to understand all those parameters. Okay, first thing. Second thing is कि how these parameters are identified. For identifying each parameter, there is a process, there are instruments, there is a proper methodology. Okay, so far so the methodology that we are using is by the guidelines that are present in this book known as APHA. There is some American Protection Health Agency, okay? And they have a list of inventory जिसमें हर एक पैरामीटर को कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करना है उसकी रेसिपी के फॉर्म में they have provided the procedure. You can do it in your home as well if you have those equipments, or it can be done in the labs. Okay? So let's talk about some of these parameters. So from the physical parameter, physical का मतलब है जो आपके देख सकते हैं, जैसे आप senses से महसूस कर सकते हैं. Okay, so in that I have taken your turbidity, color, taste and odor, TDS, electrical TDS, right? Yeah, and electrical conductivity, pH. आपके biological में it's the dissolved oxygen and your BOD, and in chemical parameters all the metals जो हम है ना जैसे for example your fluoride, your arsenic, your mercury, your phosphate, your fertilizers, they all are measured by those chemical parameters. ठीक, so chemical parameters में आपके जितने भी metallic compositions हैं, ions हैं, fertilizers हैं, pesticides हैं, pharmaceuticals, your dyes are there in the water, they are all tested. ठीक, और हर एक का टेस्ट करने का जैसे मैंने बताया कि process है, and there is an instrument that is devoted to identify their amount. ठीक, so let's discuss about what is turbidity. Turbidity का मतलब है मटमैलापन. ठीक, it is because of your suspended sediments and particles. Fine. Color, we already know. The unit which detects the color or measures the color is known as your Hazen unit. HAZEN. It's known as your Hazen unit. I'll type it in the chat box. ठीक, और ये कैसे कलर से टेस्ट किया जाता है, जैसे हम वो एक फेयर एंड लवली का एक वो जो पैरामीटर नहीं आता था जिसमें आप फेयरनेस चेक करने के लिए लगाते थे अपने स्किन के ऊपर में, तो somewhat like is this color terms. So they have different color parameters and you check that meter लगाकर we are able to identify, okay, पानी का इतना color है, and therefore it can be considered as clean or toxic or not drinkable or okay, and so and so. The taste and odor we already know. Now TDS is the total dissolved salts. Now there is a difference between turbidity and TDS. Now turbidity is because of the visible sediments जो आपको दिखाई दे रहा है, मटमैलापन कर रहा है. TDS is because of those salts which are dissolved in water. Now of course उनका भी निकालना जरूरी है, especially your salts. Now थोड़ा मिनरल होना जरूरी है. Your sodium, potassium, they should be there in a minimal quantity, in a prescribed limit in the water. But बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, then it becomes then it becomes problematic. Especially TDS measures your dissolved salt in terms of sodium, magnesium, minerals, as well as they also give you an idea about some salts like ammonium sulfate, etc., which are actually your pesticides, okay, or fertilizers. Okay. Now, electrical conductivity is also an indirect measurements of the TDS. You are people from computer science, so you know that the electricity is conducted in a system where dissolved ions are there, or ions are there more in a system. So अगर electrical conductivity पानी का ज़्यादा है, it implies that the ionic concentration is high. ठीक? एक RO पानी में जिसमें कि या कोई भी एक सा पानी जिसमें मिनरल नहीं है, उसमें आपका electricity नहीं flow होगा. So when we say that water is good conductor of electricity actually it's not the water which is good conductor of electricity, it's the ions that are present in the water which makes it good conductor. Otherwise, if you have completely आप बैटरी में जब पानी डालते हैं तो उसमें आप डिस्टिल वाटर डालते हैं, DW, ठीक है, दिस डबल डिस्टिल वाटर. डिस्टिल वाटर क्यों डालोगे? जब आपको पता है कि योर वाटर जो है आपका कंडक्टिविटी है या कंडक्टर होगा, तो वो तो पूरा शॉर्ट सर्किट कर देगा. But because that water doesn't contain ions, so it doesn't allow electricity to flow, and therefore it also helps in charging your batteries. Okay? Now, when we talk about pH is your hydrogen ion concentration of your water, and that is important because it identifies and tells whether the water is acidic or it is basic in nature. एक healthy water के लिए slightly alkaline और neutral के बीच में होना चाहिए. That is from 7 to 8 or 8.5 pH. This is the pH for the water which is healthy. Now why I have said alkaline slightly होगा तो चलेगा, because alkaline pH का होने का मतलब it contains minerals like sodium, magnesium, और वो मैंने already बोला है कि if it is in prescribed limit, then that water is healthy. Okay. Now we talk about other factors on what is dissolved oxygen, what is biological oxygen demand. Okay, I'll talk about sources later. देखो biological oxygen demand वाला कहाँ पर है? नहीं, यहाँ नहीं है, यहाँ नहीं है. Wait, where is it? No, not this. Okay, ठीक है. Okay, ठीक है. मैं ऐसे eutrophication भी बता दूंगी. It is very important. Fine. And the bioaccumulation and biomagnification also. ठीक. Now, when I say dissolved oxygen, listen it carefully. ध्यान से सुनोगे समझ में आ जाएगा. It's very easy. Dissolved oxygen means the oxygen content of any water body, any water system. That is your dissolved oxygen content. Okay. Wait. I'll tell you something. Okay. So that is the dissolved oxygen. और जो आपका BIS का prescribed limit है, that says that at least your water body should be saturated with 80 to 100% of oxygen. ठीक? मतलब 80% तक, at least 80 से 100% अगर saturation है, then it implies that water body is good. It has a good amount of oxygen. Okay? And in terms of mg per liter, it should be in between 6.5 to 8 mg per liter. Now, what does it mean? It means that if we imagine a water as a water molecule or in the form of a weight, see, then it is about 6.5 to 8 mg of oxygen should be there at least in 1 liter of water. This is the limit for healthy water. ठीक, इतना dissolved oxygen होना चाहिए. Now, why oxygen is necessary for the healthy water? First, because all the dissolved marine or the aquatic organisms that are there, or the aquatic life, needs the oxygen, whether it's fish or anyone. The only thing is that in course of evolution, they have developed a mechanism where they can extract that oxygen which is there in water. Okay, and this is a process known as, these are the specialized organs which are known as gills. Okay, so वहाँ से वो कर लेते हैं. But in case of whales, this mechanism is not there. Anyone can tell how whale respire? Whale कैसे oxygen लेती है? The question might appear very foolish. Anyways, can anyone tell how does whale respires? हाँ बोलो बेटा. Yeah, बोलो बेटा. अच्छा, I hope this. हाँ बोलो. Come on. Yeah. Good. बोलो बेटा.
Ma'am, gills.
Okay, fine. ठीक है. Now understand this. Now, fishes is one class.
I think like they don't have the gills for their respiration, but they do it like just like Annie has written, using lungs, and they have the nostrils, and I think on their like top of them, I don't know the specific region, but they like come out of the water like in order to respire. Just
exactly.
Observation.
Very good. Okay. Now whales are mammals. Okay. Mammals, that is, we are mammals, and we don't have any gills because we then respire by using lungs. Okay, and lungs don't have the mechanism to obtain the oxygen from dissolved water. Okay, only gills have, and that is the special character feature of only special kingdom, which is known as your fishes, or which is known as your pisces, Pisces. This is a biological term. Okay, now in case of whales and other mammalic aquatic organisms also, like dolphins, etc., they keep on coming to the surface for capturing that oxygen. See? Now the thing is that because their lung capacity is huge, so एक बार oxygen ले जाने के बाद में they can stay in the water for about say around 15 minutes or maybe half an hour and so on. ठीक है? So that is why these whales are more susceptible for hunting as well. क्योंकि उनको तैरने के लिए ऊपर आना ही आना पड़ेगा, and the hunters take advantage of this thing with which they actually hunt them down easily. ठीक है? So anyways, so कहाँ पे बता रही थी, कहाँ आ गया? Okay, so I was actually trying to say that oxygen is life component for everyone, even those who are living in the water. But the only difference is that they are extracting that oxygen from the dissolved water. Okay, they have this mechanism which has developed in due course of evolution. Okay, now second thing is, which is important for the oxygen, very important. This is a very important feature, not just for the organisms to live there, but oxygen decreases the rate of anaerobic decomposition. And why anaerobic decomposition is something very negative? Because it releases foul gases, for example, your methane gas, your hydrogen sulfide gas, which are not at all good for the system. ठीक है? क्योंकि अगर इन गैसेस का परसेंटेज पानी में बढ़ने लगेगा, सो धीरे आपका ऑक्सीजन का आपका जो एरोबिक जो डिकम्पोजिशन है, एरोबिक ऑक्सीडेशन हो रहा है, दैट विल स्टार्ट गेटिंग रिप्लेस्ड बाय एनाएरोबिक डिकम्पोजिशन. और एनाएरोबिक डिकम्पोजिशन में होता क्या है, धीरे आपका सिस्टम का ऑक्सीजन खत्म होने लगता है. मींस द ऑक्सीजन कंटेंट ऑफ द वाटर बॉडी दैट स्टार्ट्स गोइंग डाउन. ओके, तो ये दो चीजें हमें क्लियर हो गई. Okay, so dissolved oxygen is the measurement of the total amount of the oxygen that is dissolved in that water system, and the prescribed limit is for any healthier water body, it should be between 6.5 to 8 mg per liter. Okay, now we come to the concept of BOD, which is your biological oxygen demand, and then of course I'll just tell you a bit about what is COD, chemical oxygen demand. नहीं भी पता हो तो भी कोई इशू नहीं, बट मैं बता दूंगी. ठीक ना, क्या होता है बायोलॉजिकल ऑक्सीजन डिमांड में है, टर्म्स पर फोकस करो, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड नॉट मेनी थिंग्स. Demand is oxygen demand. First is it's the biological oxygen demand. इसका मतलब है कि ऑक्सीजन डिमांड के बारे में बात करें. इट मीन्स दैट देयर इज सम एंटिटी विच इज नीडिंग दैट ऑक्सीजन. एंड हु आर these are your biological entities. तो biological oxygen demand क्या है? All those organisms, especially your microorganisms, or in other words, we can say that biological oxygen demand is the amount of oxygen requirement, or it is the measurement of the amount of oxygen that is required by the biological microorganisms who are performing decomposition. ठीक. अब जब हम डिकम्पोजिशन के बारे में बात करेंगे, सो ऑफ कोर्स इट्स क्लियर कि अगर आपका नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल होगा तो वो तो डिकम्पोज नहीं होगा. तो क्या डिकम्पोज होंगे आपके योर डिग्रेडेबल कंपोनेंट्स. ठीक. और डिग्रेडेबल कंपोनेंट्स में एक तो आपके जो ऑर्गेनिजम्स उसमें रह रहे हैं और उनकी डेथ हो रही है, जो उनका ऑर्गेनिक बॉडी वो, एंड देयर कैन बी सम एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स ऑल्सो. ठीक है. सो नेचर में क्या होता है, जब हम फूड चेन्स के बारे में भी बात कर रहे थे, कि हर एक फूड लेवल पे या हर एक ट्रॉपिक लेवल पर आपके ऑर्गेनिजम्स दे फिनिश देयर लाइफ. नाउ दे आर देन बी decomposed by these biological organisms, and because ample amount of oxygen is there, so they oxidize these component into gases like CO2, which easily escapes from the water body. So water health is maintained, decomposition भी हो गया, and water is still healthy. Fine. प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि अगर कुछ एक्सटर्नल कंपाउंड्स और डिग्रेडेबल मटेरियल आने लगे, जिसके लिए माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स, एक तो ऑलरेडी जो लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स जो नेचुरली डाई कर रहे हैं उनको तो डिकम्पोज कर ही रहे हैं, साथ में दे विल स्टार्ट डिकम्पोजिंग दैट ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड ऑल्सो. उसमें दो चीजें होंगी. पहला, उनका पॉपुलेशन में सडन इंक्रीज होने लगेगा. व्हाई? बिकॉज फूड सोर्स फॉर देम हैज इंक्रीज्ड. अभी तक उनके पास में फूड सोर्स क्या था? The organisms, the aquatic organisms that were dying. अब उनके पास में एक्स्ट्रा फूड सोर्स है जो कि एक्सटर्नल सोर्सेज से आ रहा है. क्या है एक्सटर्नल सोर्स? दैट आई विल टेल यू. ठीक, एक्सटर्नल सोर्सेज से आ रहा है तो उनका पॉपुलेशन तो बढ़ जाएगा क्योंकि उनके पास फूड ही फूड है. ठीक, दिस इज द नेचर्स लॉ दैट इफ द फूड इज देयर द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ दैट रीजन विल इंक्रीज, क्योंकि रिसोर्स काफी है. उनके पॉपुलेशन के इंक्रीज होने से क्या होगा? दे विल आस्क फॉर मोर एंड मोर ऑक्सीजन. और चूंकि इतने रेट से पानी में ऑक्सीजन डिसॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है, so the dissolved oxygen of that water will start going down. अब जैसे ही ये डिसॉल्व, इस ऑक्सीजन कंटेंट लोअर डाउन होना लगेगा, धीरे धीरे आपका ये एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन एंड एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन में चेंज होने लगेगा. एंड देन इंस्टेड ऑफ producing CO2, it will start producing these rotting gases of hydrogen sulfide or your nitrogen oxides and your methane gas. Now this will turn your water slowly and slowly toxic, more toxic, very toxic, and finally it will take it to a point जहाँ पर पानी में कोई लाइफ नहीं रह जाएगा, क्योंकि जब ऑक्सीजन नहीं रह जाएगी so all the living organisms will further die. Okay, so this is the entire concept where eutrophication comes into fact, algal bloom comes into picture, and the role of these external agents जो आपके organic compounds उसमें add कर रहे हैं वो यहाँ पे आ जाते हैं. कैसे आते हैं that we will talk about. First, let's understand what is biological oxygen demand. So it's the total amount of oxygen that is required by microorganisms to decompose your degradable matter. Clear? किसी को कोई डाउट बेटा इसमें?
मैम.
फाइन. DO यानी कि डिसॉल्व ऑक्सीजन और BOD में किसी को कोई डाउट? ओके फाइन. तो अगर डाउट नहीं है तो मैं एक क्वेश्चन पूछती हूँ उससे. इट्स अ कंसेप्चुअल वन. ठीक. व्हाट इज द रिलेशन बिटवीन द DO डिसॉल्व ऑक्सीजन एंड BOD? आई मीन अगर पॉन्ड का DO ज्यादा होगा तो आपके पॉन्ड का BOD भी अच्छा होगा, या पॉन्ड का DO ज्यादा होगा BOD कम होगा, या फिर BOD अगर ज्यादा होगा तो उसका मतलब DO कम होगा? क्या क्या रिलेशन आप सोच सकते हो इसके बारे में? थिंक ऑफ इट. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं पॉन्ड से पानी का सैंपल लेके आती हूँ and I measure its BOD and I find that BOD is very high, उस पॉन्ड का DO यानी dissolve oxygen हाई होगा या लो होगा?
लो.
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. ठीक है. It implies
हम
that
लोग
fine, very line. ठीक है, इसका मतलब है you have understood the concept. So BOD and DO they are inversely related. अगर आपके वाटर बॉडी का BOD ज्यादा है, इससे तीन चीजें क्लियर हैं. पहला, डिसॉल्व ऑक्सीजन लो है. सेकेंड, माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स बहुत ज्यादा हो गए हैं क्योंकि उन्हीं को ये जरूरत है उस ऑक्सीजन का. थर्ड, इसका मतलब है कि पानी खतरे की घंटी बजा रही है. तुरंत आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि कैसे इस चीज को खत्म किया जाए. Okay? That is why this BOD is an important measuring unit from where you can have an idea about the biological species and pathogens in the water. Okay, and that is an indirect measurement too about the oxygen in the water, and of course overall the health of the water and the quality of any water system. Okay, so this is your known as your BOD. Okay, now let's talk about eutrophication. What it implies by eutrophication? Now this is trophic levels हम ecology में भी पढ़ चुके हैं. Now U means huge amount. ठीक, so these are the water bodies जिसमें कि आपके microorganisms बहुत नंबर में हैं, and not just microorganisms but first producer levels भी बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. कैसे? भूल जाओ इसको, थोड़ी देर के लिए साइड में रखिए. जस्ट इमेजिन कि इफ इनिशियली आई एड गुड अमाउंट ऑफ फर्टिलाइजर्स टू द फील्ड, आपका जो भी आप है ना, even if I'm saying okay it's a natural fertilizer, means if I'm adding good amount of phosphorus and nitrogen in the soil, forget we are not using any chemical fertilizer, we are simply adding phosphorus and nitrogen into the soil. What will happen to the growth of green plants in it, or what will happen to the growth of plants? Will increase or will decrease?
Increase.
will increase.
Very good. Very good. Now similarly, the phototrophs that are present in water body, which are your green algae or your plants like water hyacinth, they also need the nutrient. अगर पानी में फास्फोरस और नाइट्रोजन इनका अमाउंट ज्यादा हो जाएगा तो सडनली योर एल्गी विल ग्रो, क्योंकि इनको तो ढेर सारा मिल गया. अभी एल्गी को भी ऑक्सीजन चाहिए रेस्पिरेशन के लिए, जैसे प्लांट्स को चाहिए होता है, बट दे टेक दैट ऑक्सीजन फ्रॉम द वाटर बॉडी. डिसॉल्व ऑक्सीजन को भी यूज करते हैं. इससे क्या होगा? पानी आपका कम होने लगा, मीन्स ऑक्सीजन आपका कम होने लगा. ऑक्सीजन जैसे जैसे कम होगा, वो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स जो अभी एरोबिक डिकम्पोजिशन कर रहे थे, दे विल स्टार्ट स्विचिंग ऑन टू anaerobic decomposition, and a time will come where the entire oxygen content of the water will go away, and finally all the organisms will die. This process, where because of the enrichment of the water body due to the presence of nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, first there is a sudden growth of algae, followed by anaerobic increase in the anaerobic decomposition, followed by a sudden decline in the oxygen, followed by the death of the aquatic organisms, is known as your eutrophication. ठीक, सो इसके स्टेप्स हैं, इसको धीरे धीरे स्टेप्स करके समझो. ठीक है, अभी क्वेश्चन ये उठता है कि ये जो फास्फोरस और नाइट्रोजन एक्स्ट्रा अमाउंट में आ रहा है, ये कहाँ से आ रहा है? दिस इज बिकॉज ऑफ द एग्रीकल्चरल रन ऑफ. ठीक, क्योंकि एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड्स में हम ऑलरेडी भर के फर्टिलाइजर्स यूज किए हैं. Now when the rainfall will happen and they will wash these fertilizers, and if there is a nearby water body, lakes or ponds or anyway, they will create this problem, and that is what is happening. So first step है कि आपके पानी में excess nutrients होना चाहिए. Nutrients जब मैं यहाँ बोल रही हूँ, it's not minerals, it's not sodium, potassium or magnesium. When I say nutrients, in case of either its soil or in case of its the water body, it's nitrogen and phosphorus. Okay, so when excess of nutrients come into the water body, and how they are coming because of the agricultural runoff. ठीक, mainly sudden growth of algae will take place. This is known as, or this phenomenon is known as your algal bloom. Okay, as a result, more and more algae will grow. They will take more and more oxygen from the water body, and they will promote anaerobic decomposition, which will further decline the quality, the dissolved oxygen in the water. And finally, a time will come when all the organisms that are there in the water, they will die out of the absentia of the oxygen. That creates a dead zone. Okay, so what is happening? First step में आपके जितने भी inorganic salts हैं, जिसमें आपके nitrogen और phosphorus हैं, which were there in the agricultural field, they got washed into the nearby water body. ठीक, so ये कैसे आ रहे हैं? ये जो हम artificially nitrogen, phosphorus और potassium के fertilizers को use कर रहे हैं. ठीक, जैसे ही इन nutrients का enrichment हुआ, this is your first step, that is excess nutrient came. Algae suddenly grew. ढेर भरा population हो गया. That is known as an algal bloom. And how you can identify it? जो आप water body में पूरा हरा हरा रंग देखते हैं ना, it implies that it has started going through the process of eutrophication, and there is not much time for that water body to die. See? Now, as a result of these growth in the algae, they will take more and more oxygen, more and more organism will die. तो एक cycle create कर देगा. ये ज़्यादा oxygen लेगा, और ज़्यादा organisms die करेंगे, और ज़्यादा decomposition होगा, वो भी oxygen लेंगे, and so there will be rapid decline in the oxygen, and this finally will cause the death of the fishes, which is your eutrophication. Okay. So is it clear? Eutrophication, algal bloom, are they clear? Good. Okay. So this is one of an example in a Chesapeake Bay, in the Virginia and the Maryland district in Washington DC in US, and this line beyond which we change, we can see the different color of the water is actually a dead zone. Dead zone implies that the water is heavily eutrophied and there is no living organism in that water body. Okay, and this is because of the industrial and the agricultural flow, which added huge amount of nitrogen and phosphorus in these water bodies. Okay, so this is how it happens. Okay, and then we can see these dead zones across globe. So the entire western coast of US, parts of eastern coast, of course, मतलब हम देख रहे हैं पूरे ही coast पे almost this problem is there. In parts of Africa, in South America, very fewer places in Africa क्योंकि वहाँ industries इतना develop नहीं हुई है. Europe में so extensive. Even in parts of India, especially the big cities like your Kolkata and parts of Madras and Kerala and your Mumbai. So these regions are close to your dead zone. And of course, in the regions of Japan, because they, of course, Japan में तो famous है, अभी हम आपको बताएंगे, talk about many matter disease and all these stuff, then you will come to know Japan is the hero and the beginning of all these stuff, of all these things. Okay, fine. Okay, where we were. Okay. So these were the water quality parameters. I have discussed about these things, and there is one important problem that is associated with the water pollution, that is bioaccumulation. वो मैं जब आपको इसके diseases के बारे में बताऊंगी तब आपको पता चलेगा. Let's first have a quick review on what are the sources of water pollution. Now they can be divided into two categories. One, on the sources, they are domestic sewage, the industrial effluents, oil and other waste. And second classification is based on their source, marking their source of origin. Means point sources वो हैं जहाँ पर आपको exact origin पता है कि कहाँ से गंदा पानी आ रहा है. Okay. Non-point sources are you cannot identify specific, क्या point नहीं कर सकते कि हाँ वो यहाँ से निकल रहे हैं, because they are spread in huge area. So agricultural runoff, industrial runoff, agricultural runoff, overflowing drains, they all are examples of a non-point source. Whereas for the point source, the examples are your power plants, treatment plants, industries, etc. Okay. And what are the causes of these water pollution? Of course, industrial, sewage, mining activities, marine dumping, oil leakages and accident. There is one huge and very big accident that has recently happened along the shores of Sri Lanka. Okay? And they have even filed a case against them. So I think this was some tanker that was coming from Malaysia, I think, no, Singapore or Malaysia, somewhere maybe from Indonesia, and they were taking the supplies to probably India, or they were taking the supplies to some other place. Okay, now eventually शिप में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ गया उसमें, कार्गो में, एंड दैट कार्गो एक्चुअली उसमें एक्सीडेंट हुआ कार्गो में या कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ. Not just oil, it contained huge amount of metals in it, and those metals were very very toxic. और उसने पूरे शोर को, श्रीलंका के शोर को अफेक्ट करके रखा हुआ है. So this was a news. I read it in Hindu. I think maybe some last week around this accident was there. Okay? So those are of course causing the pollution to the sea. और बाकी ocean में plastics तो सबसे ज़्यादा पड़ा हुआ है. We have already discussed. So that is a problem to your water pollution. And radioactive waste also is there. Leakages from development, etc., etc. They are all causes for your water pollution. This is one example from Russia, where water is directly, this water coming from your industry is directly poured into a pond. Okay? And then it becomes the part of Volga River. Volga River is the Ganga, is the Ganga of Russia. Okay? So now let's talk about what are the effects of these, what are the effects or the consequence of this polluted water. Okay, so I'll just first discuss about some important diseases that were history in themselves. Okay, so one of this is Minamata disease. Okay, now this is a blue baby syndrome now. Minamata का नहीं लिखा है. Anyways, अच्छा Minamata का मैंने next उसमें दिखाया है. Okay, now Minamata disease के बारे में मैं आगे में explain करूँगी. I'll talk about some other problems pertaining to water. Now, excessive nitrate in the water causes blue baby syndrome, which is also known as methemoglobinemia. Okay. Now, this combines three terms: meth, hemo. Hemo means blood. Okay, this hemoglobin, that is a blood. Meth, because this methyl group starts coming from this nitrate. And anemia is obtained from a word called anemia. Anemia का मतलब होता है reduction in the iron content of the blood. और iron content blood से अगर decrease हो गया, so what happens? Why is iron important for the hemoglobin, for the blood? Anyone? कभी सोचा है कि क्यों हम बार-बार बोलते हैं iron बढ़ाओ, खून बढ़ेगा और so and so? What is the role of iron in blood?
Ma'am, it helps in the formation of hemoglobin.
Okay, right. But what is its actual role? Hemoglobin का component है iron. Iron होगा तो yeah.
It attaches O2 from the air.
Exactly. Right. Iron is the carrier for the oxygen, and that is how this oxygen goes into our system. Okay? Now, what if iron starts attaching itself to another molecule, which is more competitive as compared to oxygen? Okay? So, whether it's carbon monoxide, whether it's nitrate, now these compounds have the more capacity to replace the oxygen and combine with the iron. So उससे क्या होगा, आपका body जो है नीला पड़ने लगता है, because that circulation of the oxygen starts affecting. Okay? So this one is your baby. Why they were saying a blue baby syndrome? Because this is more effective in the kids, okay, in the children. Okay. Now there is this problem because of the huge amount of cadmium in water, which is known as itai. Now this was also found in the water and was first reported in Japan. Again, the source of origin of the cadmium was pouring of the water rich in cadmium directly to the water bodies. Okay. Now what they say to is ouch, because it is a very painful problem, especially in terms of bones. Or because when we say जब हम hurt हो जाते हैं तो हम बोलते हैं ouch लग गया. So that's why it's said to be as ouch, which is in Japanese version of itai. Okay. And then itai is a Japanese version of this ouch thing. Okay. It is because of cadmium. Now there are two very important heavy metals also, arsenic and fluoride. Now fluoride in India was for the first time was reported from Telangana, that is from Andhra Pradesh, and then in a very large quantity from Rajasthan. Okay. Now right now this fluoride problem we can see in some parts of Delhi also, in some parts of NCR also, in some parts of Punjab and Haryana as well. And fluoride is very problem. How? Fluoride हम किस part में use करते हैं body के? Anyone? Why is fluoride important to our body? Okay, हम जब कहते हैं ना वो दंत मंजन में fluoride है and something like that, right? So fluorine is an important component of our bone, which forms the teeth and bone structure. Okay? That is known as your hydroxyapatite, calcium hydroxyapatite. But if this fluoride goes in huge excess amount of जरूरत से ज़्यादा हो जाता है, then it causes stiffening of the bones. Bones का जो एक flexibility that finishes, और उसकी वजह से bones इतनी ज़्यादा अकड़ जाती है that it becomes very very painful. It causes the deformation of the teeth, which is the initial symptoms of the presence of fluoride in water. And thousands of people are affected with this fluoride. And interestingly, the source of fluoride is not just industrial, but it is present in huge quantities in groundwater, which is coming from the rock minerals because of the change in some properties of the reactions there, because of again over pumping of the water. ठीक है, तो पानी जैसे जैसे हम खींच रहे हैं उसने ग्राउंड वाटर को भी कंटामिनेट किया है, not because we are putting something down there, because रॉक बेड्स में ये जो मिनरल्स थे उनकी केमिस्ट्री में चेंजेस होने लगे और वो मिनरल्स उतर उतर कर पानी में आने लगे. And two such examples are, one is arsenic and another is fluoride. Arsenic is next very poisonous and toxic element. ये जो हाथ में blisters है ये आपके पहले initial symptoms हैं. Later symptoms it causes cancers and finally death, which is also fatal. It causes the death of the person अगर बहुत high concentration में इंसान काफी लंबे समय से पी रहा है. And these are slow poison. आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा, and they will slowly eat your body. Okay. On arsenic contamination, सबसे पहले बांग्लादेश में रिपोर्ट किया गया था, and when it was found by WHO that millions of people have died because of drinking this arsenic contaminated water, they considered it as one of the important problems. So even when in this current thing of this Ganga projects and this jal cleaning projects have came, उसमें separate project एक arsenic को remove करने के लिए आया है. Okay? So these are all the symptoms with the figures. I think it's 11:50. Should I begin with this or not? ठीक है, ये भी फटाफट हो जाएगा, don't worry, ताकि ये खत्म हो. ठीक. Now I'll discuss about what is your Minamata disease. Now Minamata disease is because why it is known as Minamata, because this was first discovered in a place called Minamata and it killed around thousands and thousands of people. ठीक है, और this is an example of your bioaccumulation and biomagnification. Now the problem with this is caused due to mercury. Now this was this industry which was using mercury catalyst in converting this acetylene into acetaldehyde. ठीक है, now acetaldehyde is an important component in different chemical industries. ठीक. Now this mercury catalyst was then washed from the water. पानी में आ रहा था क्योंकि वो तो कैटलिस्ट है, तो वो तो निकलेगा ही निकलेगा, वो तो रिएक्शन में पार्टिसिपेट करेगा नहीं, और वेस्ट वाटर के फॉर्म में ये आपका पानी के सिस्टम में पार्ट बन रहा था. ठीक. Now this mercury is a heavy metal and it is non-decomposable. It cannot be decomposed. So when it went into fishes, उनके टिश्यूज में गया, फिर जब इन फिशेस को बड़ी फिशेस ने खाया उनके टिश्यूज में गया, जब ये बड़ी फिशेस ह्यूमंस के प्लेट में आया तो उनके बॉडी में गया. And mercury is highly toxic. It disrupts several metabolic activities. वहाँ पर ये तुरंत जाके वहाँ अपने आप को फिट करता है और पूरे मेटाबॉलिक पाथवेज को चेंज कर देता है, इंक्लूडिंग योर प्रोटीन प्रोडक्शन एंड एवरीथिंग. स्पेशली ये आपके न्यूरॉन और न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स को अफेक्ट करता है. सो इट कॉजेस दिस अटैक ऑन ब्रेन, the neural and your cerebral, your entire central nervous system starts getting affected. ठीक. So उसमें मिथाइल मर्क्यूरी पहले पानी में गया, कुछ प्लैंक्टन्स ने लिया, कुछ उन्होंने लिया, then it went into these fishes, then from these fishes into the bigger fishes, and we have already discussed in the ecosystem this phenomenon where any non-biodegradable component like DDT, like mercury, which are traveling from one trophic level to the another trophic level, and their concentration is increasing in each trophic level, that is known as our biomagnification. And this process by which they are traveling and they still remain there in the tissues of the organisms and they don't get decomposed is known as our bioaccumulation. Okay, so signals were something like that, followed by the people, and it affected generations because this went up to the genetical modifications. Okay? And people were badly suffered by this accident because it affected and killed thousands and millions of people, and they sometimes are affected now also. So जब ये discover हुआ, then of course the industries were closed, but it was like an eye opener. Anything can happen if you don't check it. So there's this book also which was written like Bitter Sea, The Human Cost of Minimata Disease. Okay, so this is the picture of Buriganga River. Now, Buriganga River is said to be as one of the main rivers of Bangladesh, and we can see it appears like a drain. Okay, now these are the oil spills. So we can see that they are over the surface in the form of these droplets and over the surface of ocean. Now, oil के साथ में problem क्या है? Doesn't allows the oxygen to dissolve in it. So it forms that film, and it again cuts the supply of the oxygen to the deeper layers of the water. So this is an example from the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. Eutrophication we have already discussed. Methane we have already discussed. Okay. So in this part, now we will discuss about how we can treat our water. There are some wastewater treatment techniques, and then in general, what we can do to clean our water. Okay. Okay. So I'll end our class here. Anyone has any doubt? किसी को कुछ पूछना है, or you want to share anything? Fine. So I'll take your attendance, and then you can